And then there was a job advert that mentioned functional programming. I think it even mentioned Haskell and mentioned logic programming. So since I was always considered myself a programming language person, thought that's rare. And then I kind of looked at the map of where that was in Germany, and that was a half-hour's drive from where I was. So that was even more surprising. Turn out, so this was actually a job advert by Advert Active Group that were looking for somebody to be sort of the German representative for an American client that had their own programming language, run by Frank McCabe, who was one of the original Prolog people, programming language, the wonderful programming language designer. And as I was kind of alone where I was, he was kind of alone within his company working on that programming language. And so I think he felt fortunate that there was somebody else who understood what he was talking about and what he was trying to do. But I remember in the job interview, actually, my later boss, asked me, "Do you like?" I was like, I mentioned that so that working with other people, I'm sometimes not very good at making compromises. Let's put it like that, right? Which is why I left the university. I'd sometimes just not taken on projects or left projects as a freelancer where I felt the technical vision was too far away from where I felt it needed to be. And so I mentioned that and said, well, just so you know, right, I'm not here to just do anything as long as it brings in the money. But constitutionally, I need a certain I need a certain proximity to the contents of the project that I'm working on. Then he said, "Well, do you like working with other people?" And I remember having to pause. But that was the first time that I thought about this, right? Is it? And I think that might have been sort of the beginning of a conscious thought process of what I wanted to do, not just on the technical and technological side, but also on the human side of computing. So that eventually led me to, I ended up taking on this job, working with other people. I ended up creating a bunch more jobs. And then I ended up being CEO of that company, which I still am to this day. And while the company works on functional programming, I think I spend most of my time on trying to have us all that were in this company build something together. And I enjoy that.